So quickly, let's check the map for balance. Starting hunt plus a few for both players. Map looks very balanced. Coin mines are balanced. And let's go. So it was a food start, it looks like. Not a coin or wood. Samwise is just going to plop down the age 1 house, not worry about anything extra. And I imagine Osmane will do the same. Osmane's picking up 70 food. Let me quickly adjust game volume here. And even that out. Okay. 70 food, going to be very nice for Russia to get an idolist age up. We can sort of spot the very strong treasures, that'd be nice. 100 food that Samwise spots, I believe. Let's turn Fog of War on. Yes, he does scout that, but now he's going back to it, so I think that he really wants this, but apparently he started to use his crack shot on this treasure in base, so he might have to wait a while before he can actually start engaging these guardians. Never mind. I believe I was incorrect. So he's going to go for that right away. Meanwhile, there is a Cherokee rifleman in KINGofOsmane space, but I think he really wants his idolist age up, so he's going to go straight for 40 food. And I think that this means that he's going to be pretty aggressive. Going to ship those 5 Cossacks, maybe get his 5 Musks out very early and train a batch of villagers meanwhile. And yeah, 40 coin also helps his early age 2 plan quite a bit. So pretty nice treasures from Osmane so far. But 100 food going to help Samwise as well. I don't think he can. Well, I think he will be able to cut a villager. It was a food start. He didn't chop for an extra market or trading post. So I think he'll be able to click up with 16 villagers, I think. I think it should be possible, but 17 is definitely more safe. I think he'll get 16 just fine, actually. If he clicks up now, around 240, that is a villager early, so the German player is going to be aging a villager early. Very nice for him, and he picks up this dog treasure. Gonna scout around, see what's good. Potentially, it looks like he wants to scout for a treasure here before maybe laying down his trading post, but I'd probably get that trading post down if I were the German player. Meanwhile, we do have 3 forward villagers coming to mid-map for KINGofOsmane. Gonna slap down that blockhouse. Kind of typical Russian gameplay. He smartly pulled off of his villagers of wood so that he doesn't get too much wood before he builds this, of course with that distributivism age 1 shipment. And there we go. Pretty aggressive blockhouse. It is on Samwise's half of the map, but it's not as close as it can be possible. Just a solid placement all around. Samwise is laying down that trading post. Germany, of course, really wants that, and I think Osmane is heading over there. Perhaps he just wants to scout it, see which one was built. We can check the waypoint of this guy. Going somewhere over here. But the German player is aging up before the Russian player, immediately tasking the settler wagon to those 400 wood crates. Building a house. I expect we'll see a stable from Samwise, and checking the pomp of Osmane. I don't know if I glimpsed it correctly, but I do believe that 22 pop does mean 5 Cossacks is coming. If you subtract the 3 villagers queued, 27 now. Something's coming. Something's coming. Perhaps I should try to be less analytical and just focus on what's happening. So Osmane is laying down an early trading post for Russia. This is quite early in H2. Tells me that he wants to try to get the trading post line. And here we go, a very timely 5 Cossack, 5 Musketeers batch. And Samwise is actually, well, initially was going to raid with his 2 Uhlans, but he scouts the pressure and decides to return to his base. No villagers going to go down yet, but these Uhlans will definitely not live. But very nice hurting from Samwise12. He's got all his villagers under his TC. Everything should be able to be garrisoned quite nicely. Yes, Minutemen coming out now, so forcing the Minutemen reaction, really nice, and there's nothing to snare, so Osmane gets out of here just fine. Turns back a little bit, scaring off that Uhlan, but these Minutemen got pretty good value because of that. I feel like game audio is still just a tad bit too loud, so I'm going to turn that down. And it looks like immediately right-clicking this trading post. Yes, that is indeed where the Musketeers are going to go. But not the Cossacks, because these Cossacks are very important for King of Osmane, because he does have to defend against the inevitable Uhlan raids that the German player will try to execute when he gets his next shipment here. Another 2 Uhlans will be spawning under the town center. So I think that this is just sort of active army control from Osmane, and 8 crossbows coming out, so quite a reaction from Samwise. Training a batch of 4 Uhlans from his stable. Gonna try to protect this trading post, and he should be able to. This is quite a mass of ranged infantry and a decent mass of Uhlans. And I don't think Osmane is quite is recognizing what's happening. Granted, 8 crossbows is maybe not the shipment you want to send second in Colonial as Germany. You really kind of want that 700 wood just to fuel your population. And as a result, Samwise actually 7 villagers on wood, but whoa, this is going to be really nice for Samwise. Getting a great trade against these Musketeers, losing almost no units. And I don't think that Osmane can challenge this just yet. And this trading post is saved with 300 hit points. And now this is sort of an opportunity where the German player can maybe just nuke the forward base from the Russian player. Imagine, however, he has popped. He's popped, so I think that he's maybe sending Doppelsonders next. What else do you send? 5 Uhlans? I didn't see how much the population jumped, but that was a very nice trade, and I think that it could be a window for the German player to push the Russian forward base. However, a second fortifying blockhouse is coming down for Osmane, so it's going to be easier said than done. Actually, it looks like Samwise is just, yes, macroing for the age up. 700 coin does come in. The reason he was popped is because of that forward population from the 2 Uhlans included in that shipment. And the German player is going to be up no problemo. These 2 Uhlans will be scouted by the blockhouses, so I do hope that Osmane reacts to this raid, and it looks like he is doing just so. Meanwhile, this trading post has not been repaired. It really seems like Osmane could have gotten this down. I don't really feel like he can H yet. So if the game plan is to just mass an H2 and suffocate the German army, getting this trading post down, I think, is an important part of that strategy. However, it's going to be tough. Germany's going to have access to all of these very powerful shipments. 8 skirmishers, 7 skirmishers, 9 and 8 Uhlan XP donators. And let's not forget the 3 war wagons and, of course, the 12 Jaegers. Now nerfed from 13 on EP8, but still in their own right, kind of a GG shipment sometimes. And just like that, Samwise reaches age 3. And Osmane doesn't really have a timing prepared, you know? It looks like he changed his mind from going to the trading post back to Samwise's base when he scouted that age up, but I don't know if he's going to get there in time, and actually Samwise has now repaired that trading post, so very, very, very clean play from Samwise so far, I'd say. And actually I was questioning that 8 crossbow shipment earlier, but it synergized well with Samwise's game plan, and caught Osmane by surprise. I don't think you expect that early of an 8 crossbow shipment. But Osmane's getting ready to right click maybe, and let's just quickly look at units in queue. 2 war wagons are in queue. We'll switch units in queue and shipment sites. There we go. So 2 war wagons. War wagons will of course do very well with this mass. And somehow Samwise got that villager into the TC. Wow, managing to get 4 out of that batch and ships a 3. So, oof. I mean, this is going to be a really tough army composition for King of Osmane to deal with. However, these war wagons are very clunky and a pain in the behind to micro. So, might be able to get out if you're alright. The ranged infantry unfortunately going ahead for Samwise12, and a war wagon being picked off by these musketeers. Reinforcing batch of 10 Strelets comes in. Of course, they do very well versus the war wagons counter unit there. But still, these guys have 500 hit points and are no joke. But not the best trade Samwise could have taken, I think. But it looks like he is going to hold just fine. And there is this very low HP settler wagon. We'll see if it gets picked off at all. Just 27 hit points. Looks like Osmane is just focusing all of the military units. And takes a decent trade. Honestly, I would say that that's a decent trade, which is what Russia wants. But the question is, can they keep taking decent trades? Like just like that, all that XP from that fight went to the German player and is now fueling his shipment curve, and these reinforcing 10 Strelets could be caught out of position. There is a batch of 5 musks, and blockhouse fire does bonus against hand cavalry, and these are not yet veteran Ulans. Veterancy tech is now just being teched, and 600 coin, comes down at the forward blockhouse. So slight mishap for Osmane, but he's not going to be pressured enough, so it's not really going to matter. He will be able to gather that up just fine. And Samwise is kind of hurting for Hunt, so this is what I was talking about in the pregame lobby. I was almost a low resource map because you do have these very beefy bison herds, but they're so far from your TC unless you start hurting them very early, which might run the risk of back hurting them. When you're in the mid-game like this, 12-13 minutes, could be difficult to defend your resources. So it's still a game. It's still a close game. I like this. Osmane, I think, just senses that there could be Ulan raids coming. There aren't, but this is just being active with your army. It's being proactive with your army, and I approve of that. It's just a pretty solid play. If we look at scores, scores are pretty even, considering that Russia is generally underrepresented. However, the German player is an H3. And we'll have to see what his next shipment is. His pop just went up, but he's not overpopped. He's got a lot of villagers on coin. Finishes a batch of 4 war wagons. Excuse me. And yeah, he still senses these raids, and he's going to spot these units. This is very nice unit control from Osmane. Nice army positioning. And Boyars comes in, so these Cossacks and these Strelets are going to be beefed up by quite a lot. It's a 15% attack and hit points upgrade card for 2 units in H2. Just a stellar card. But is it going to be enough? Looks like Samwise is sort of opting for just this war wagon veteran Ulan composition, which is interesting. Because Ulans are maybe not the best performing unit, nor are war wagons. If you just sort of jam everything in there, it's going to be enough for both players to choose to not engage. And Osmane's entire eco is sort of on this left side of the map, so he's not gathering any resources here. So Samwise, in order to pressure these resources, almost has to go through the entire forward base of Osmane. So I sort of like this decision to extend out on the left side of the map. And we do have a nice little raid here. Should pick off 1 villager. 4 war wagons are coming in to defend, and I don't actually know if we got a villager. Units lost. Okay, 1 villager was lost. I assumed that was in this raid. I didn't see one earlier. and still neither player wants to commit. But it's hard to say who this is better for as the game goes on. I think the longer that Samwise has an opportunity to send a game-changing shipment like 12 Jaegers, I think 12 Jaegers is going to be very difficult for the Russian player to deal with. However, the longer the game goes on, also the more exposed the German player becomes relative to the Russian player. I say relative because the Russian player has the option to fortify his defenses with blockhouses. He already has this very strong forward base built here in the middle of the map. So for the time being, his resources are much safer than the German players, as we see that coming into play now. A pretty large raid coming down here. And if you're Osman, I think you pick off the villagers if you can and just get out of there. Once you get a villager raid, you don't necessarily want to fight right away because you want the war of attrition. You want that loss of villager seconds to really come into play and result in lower reinforcement batches for your opponent. So smartly picking off a few villagers and retreating to his defenses here, and cuts off the army. Like, this is very smart army positioning from Osmane, just knowing at all times where Samwise12 is on the map. But there are a lot of war wagons here, and cav combat was shipped, so this is a very scary army. But we'll be fighting under the blockhouses and the Russian reinforcements, so how well do these war wagons do is the question. The Ulans are falling relatively quickly, even with cav combat and veterancy. Another batch of musketeers coming in to reinforce. The Cossacks are mostly gone. There's not going to be anything to stand these war wagons. There aren't a lot of Strellas to really bonus them. So the war wagons do outrange the musketeers by 4 range, 16 to 12. So they should be able to kite out of this. But again, that was a pretty even trade. And it looks like a few of the Cossacks went into the German player's base. Perhaps trying to get a raid in. Looks like the unit's lost again. Ah, that was a... Oh, no. The 4 villagers were raided earlier. So, just sort of a raid to keep the enemy on its toes. But, yeah, there's just no safe res. There's no safe res. And this is going to be a really big raid, picking off a couple settler wagons, and again, just smartly retreating. He doesn't have to fight now, he just killed 4 villagers, and he's now up 18 villagers and an equivalent population, so he can't just snowball this theoretically in H2, and the German player really has to have a really tremendous trade happen for him at the moment, but fighting under these 2 blockhouses and this forward stable, I just don't really see it happen. Ah, my, oh no, now it's upside down. We're just going to turn them off. Sorry, I was talking about the team logos by the names. I had them mixed up, but let's watch this fight. So, kind of everything getting jammed in. The Strelets are walking forward, not very afraid of these Ulans, and want to get shots off on these war wagons. But this 8 skirmisher shipment is actually pretty strong. These Musketeers are not a very good unit. The gold mine has just run out, and wow, this is a pretty large military spike for the German player. Osmane's forced to retreat. Units in queue, he's got 10 Musketeers and 10 Strelets. He's just got to be able to defend this push, and then I think he's got the game in the bag. But Osmane's doing a pretty decent job so far. Just kiting is now forced to gather on this coin mine in line of sight of the blockhouses, and another small raid coming down. I think that one will pick up the villager. There it goes. Meanwhile, here is the main fight. Ooh, War Wagon's just going a little bit too forward. And with two blockhouse production, I mean, I think Russia's going to be able to hold here. I have to be honest. Just continuing War Wagon production, but only getting 1 out in this latest batch. You can see the economies is really hurting the German player. Those reinforcements are not going to be very strong. Meanwhile, Russia has economic theory behind this. It's just got to spam units, I think, but it's tough. It's tough. This is how this matchup goes, I guess. And he's getting absolutely pushed back. He's almost doubled the economy. So Osmane just cannot defend this forward base anymore, and he's got to be dropping military buildings down somewhere. He's going to try. I guess he's going to keep trying. He still has 10 musketeers in queue. If he can pop them into melee mode on top of these war wagons, but one blockhouse does go down, and Osmane just calls GG. And I guess what a game one. The German military just eventually proving to be too strong, despite being up all that economy. Well played by Samwise there. I mean, excellent build production from Osmane. Good rating, but I mean, how do you win this fight, I suppose? I think this was the tell of the tape. Really nice trade here for Samwise. Or sorry, that would be right here. Really nice trade for Samwise. Picks off 11 units for just losing 1. So that allowed him to age unharassed, keep his trading post, and slowly snowballed the military advantage and the technological advantage over the Russian player who was stuck in H2. All right, let me try to fix these logos. Why is this upside down? This makes no sense to me. Huh. Alright, I'll just reset it. Oh, it's still upside down. I'll get rid of it. And just re-put it in there. So Samwise is hosting, so he'll be on that side. Osmane will be on this side. And we'll tweak that when we get in game, but you guys should kind of know which respective teams the players are playing for this week. We are on week 4 of 5 regular season weeks, and the 2 teams with the most amassed victories after that will face each other off head-to-head in the playoffs. Now Osmane is locking Japan on Fraser River. Samwise12 choosing Spain. I will update the score when I get in game. Don't believe I put it on there. Samwise12 is currently leading 1-0 in this play all 5 series, and both players are agreeing on this matchup. Not that they had to agree, because Samwise12 was given the opportunity to counterpick, and he did choose the Spanish civilization. So Fraser River, this is one of the new maps, one of the, I believe, 5 maps included in the EP tournament pool and are being showcased in this tournament. And I like this one. This might be my favorite of the new maps. Gosh dang it, the player names were switched again. This is kind of more pain than it's worth. Alright, and as a result, I kind of missed the early game, but okay. It's a wood start, and spawning in the northeast of the map is Samwise12 in the color blue playing Spain, and in the southwest is KINGofOsmane in the color green playing his patented Japan. Would start, so I think both players are going to be happy with that, and Osmane as a result is just going to lay down a shrine. Not going to go for that early consulate, and immediately going to go for this 110 coin. And look at these divine strikes. Just nutty, just nutty. You're going to pick this up in a record time. Who doesn't want free 110 coin? I believe he has also scouted the 40 wood. Yes, he has. Using his free orchard rickshaw to do a little extracurricular scouting as well. I mean, why not? Meanwhile, Samwise12 did lay down this trading post and is going to go for a bear cub. So, building up his Pokemon army in H1. And one thing to note about this trading route is that it's considered 2 different routes. So if you stagecoach this side, it will only affect these 2 trading posts, and likewise on the southern half of the map. So I wouldn't categorize this as an ATP map necessarily, because I think for ATP to be viable, you kind of have to stagecoach, and if you are stagecoaching 4 TPs and researching the upgrade twice, just doesn't seem good to me intuitively. Let's check his deck though. Stacking his shit. Okay, he's just sent his 3 villagers in 2 minutes, I believe. Well, that seems awfully late for Spain, unless he's already shipped the 3 villagers and is now shipping ATP, which could be possible. Oh, it's his 3 villagers arrived at 145, of course, because Spain got the XP, I suppose, an accelerated passive curve, so their shipments now arrive even faster, and you got that early trading post with many passes on it by now, so ATP is being shipped 100%. And we'll see what he does with it. Osmane is sneaking in a trading post of his own. Unfortunately, just going to miss a pass on that. But not as crucial for Japan to miss that first pass and the transitory trading post. Now picking up the Nuka Clubman, so really doubling down on the Pokemon army. Almost like he's playing a War Chief Civ. Meanwhile, the Japanese monks are just going all around trying to find those hunts and shrine up the most inconvenient for the opponent, I suppose. I think he's actually trying to... No, he doesn't have the resources to lay down another trading post. And if he did, it might be a mistake because of all of these treasures that the Spanish player has received. And the Nuka is coming back to try to harass this explorer. It's not going to be as damaging as it used to be, though. Stats sort of nerf versus explorers in H1, but with Honcho joining now, Honcho is also nerfed. And War Dog, though, I think that this is going to prove to be too much for Osmane, and both monks are going to poof away. And just some herding villagers here. This is a very annoying shrine from Osmane. shrining basically the third hunt of Samwise12. But there's really going to be no way for the Japanese player to build this trading post. But if you invest a card just to build 3 experience-only trading posts, I just don't know how good it is. It's also got the foundation laid for this native post. I don't think it's likely that he'll train units from this because they cost, Cheyenne Riders cost 40 food and 110 wood, which is by all accounts terrible. But I think he's just going to go for heavy XP boom. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I think that that's what we're going to see. Forward outpost coming into play and just a very aggressive FF maybe. Tower FF. Doesn't have, you know, for instance, he doesn't have the resources to even just stagecoach this 1 TP line. Meanwhile, Osmane hasn't received an H2 shipment yet. He aged up later than the Spanish civilization, so I'll be interested to see how he deals with this. This map, your town centers do spawn on a sort of plateau or a terrace or something, and you do have these chokes, these wallable chokes, that could buy him some time, but he's just going to train 5 clubs right away. Right-click forward to the map. This outpost is laid right on this ATP trading post. This is going to be a very tough position for Osmane to push into. He's actually going to lose his hero. It's tanking the fire from both these buildings. And we'll see if he cover modes the clubman being targeted. No, he's not. And 5 Ashy, first card. So he's really prioritizing trying to get this outpost down. The 5 Ashy is needed, or else this Explorer plus War Dogs would just clean this up. So Osmane is choosing to go for a less economic focused build order just in order to buy himself some time. So now this very aggressive forward outpost from Samwise12 is not going to help his units just, you know, teleport across 2/3 of the map. And as a result, laying down an in-base barracks. So this FF from Samwise is going to be drastically slowed down, which I think is a very big deal. Even now he's losing a villager, perhaps a second. No, he's going to get those in base. And forcing the Minutemen reaction out of Samwise and killing that Explorer, which would possibly snare. So 5 Ashy is really paying off for Osmane so far, I would say. Because I wanted to say this earlier, got off on a tangent of the action happening, but if you go for ATP and you don't stagecoach and you go for a heavy XP boom, you kind of rely on that tower being forward and aggressive so you can just spam shipments. Now you're adding potentially 30 seconds to your entire timing and you don't necessarily have an economy to justify it in the form of stagecoach trading posts, and it just feels flat, you know. It just feels slower because you slowed your build to build all of these trading posts and you don't even have your tower. So not sure how I feel about ATP without stagecoach, but of course Samwise12 is a better player than I. Just adding my own thoughts and opinions. So this very annoying shrine gets taken out by Samwise. And 1 clubman going forward to scout. Should scout the 4-star raid, or age up. And what's all coming his way. Osmane is aging himself right now. And I think that he's going to have the time to do it. I really do. There just doesn't seem to be a scary timing from the Spanish player. Osmane's shrine count is on 90, so he didn't go for a super boomy style. He went 5 Ashy, 600 coin. So this isn't a commie boom. This isn't any boom whatsoever. It's what I would call relatively, this is what I would call low eco Japan play, to be honest. Didn't ship villagers, didn't ship kami. However, he is up in the age 3 comfortably, and he is still up 8 equivalent villager population, so not in a bad spot at all, I would say. However, I think it's all just going to come down to the big fight. So Samwise12 is sort of adapted to having his tower killed and has shipped Spanish Gold as his first card in H3 and immediately after 1000 wood. So now I think he's going to tech for the eco play. Here comes Stagecoach, now research on this northern half of the TP route at roughly 10 minutes. And gonna help him get all of its infrastructure up. Second barracks coming down, houses I expect to stable, etc. Heck, you can now even afford to train the Cheyenne riders if you want, but yeah, still pretty bad. But this is a nice card for him, or a nice nat post for him to build, because that 0.7 experience per second is beneficial to the Spanish player, and you can also send 12 bison for 300 resources at his town center if he ever needs it. So I swore I heard cannons somewhere in the background, or am I going crazy? Ah, it's a flaming arrows protected behind this wall. Very nice, very smart play from Osmane. And going to be picking up that trading post. So potentially could stagecoach this if he wants to himself. Doesn't necessarily have the resources available right now. Samwise12 is electing to build some strategically placed wall segments just to cut off the map in such a way that you can gather here peacefully, not have to worry about ashy raids and whatnot. So it looks like we are gearing up for a strong middle game. This isn't late game yet, but I would say that this classifies as a strong middle game fight that we're going to see. And so far, it looks like that this is benefiting Spain. He's got the military lead right now. Of course, he's down in economy, but he does have these 2 stagecoach trading posts, so not so far down as you might think. And he's able to send these very strong cards: Spanish Gold, 1000 wood, 1000 food. Well, this is 5 lancers now. It's a UI bug, but Osmane is just getting a little bit of scouting done with his monk. Could poof that back. Could poof that back if he wants to. Perhaps doesn't need it though, because there's not a whole lot that he can shrine that wouldn't be killed right away. And another defensive wall segment because Osmane is going age 4. So living up to his Yumi wall name, although not many Yumis, I guess, just the 6 from the age up, but veteran Ashies, 2 flaming arrows, and aging with that Shogunate. So it's going to be granted with an experience boost when he hits up. Going to be able to ship those 4 flaming arrows and whatnot, but Samwise12 smells blood and it's going to be pushing. The nice thing though about these arrows in this wall, they're going to get off some decent volleys. Could buy him some time. And skirmishers pathing around this cliff. The whole army pathing around. So just like that, this 15 wood wall minus the cost for the gates just bought Osmane probably a whole minute of time. So very strategic from him. Instead, Samwise12 is just going to siege this shrine, gain some more map control, potentially pick up second trading post for himself and stagecoach that, just gain complete map control. But Japan in age 4 is always scary. Now with this daimyo, gonna boost the hit points of all of his units, and that cheeky flaming arrow siege the trading post. Osmane is potentially going to be housed soon though. It's only on 106 out of 120 population, and these shrines are not very defensible at this moment. He's forced to build Shrine outside his base here. 14 Ashies coming out first before the 4 Flaming Arrows. I think that that's nice. Samwise12 has tech into the Lancer army composition, shipping this very powerful Caballero shipment, which does add +1 multiplier against infantry and also +1 range. So these guys are strong, very strong. And Ashigaros are not the most, I guess you would say, efficient anti-cav musketeers in the game relative to their cost until they get all of their upgrades in. Until they get all the golden pavilions and bayonet, the bayonet card, close combat. But not in yet. And 2 orchards coming out at 14 minutes, so actually the Japanese player was able to go age 4 without shipping the 2 orchards yet. Very cool. And his villager lead is just growing. It's just growing. And I don't know if this is a game you want to play as Spain. But here come 3 culverins. And I could be proved wrong here. Because I don't know if we are really in the late game yet still. This still feels sort of like a very strong mid-game push from the Spanish player, just teching up, using the efficiency of the Stagecoach trading post to get a very good mass. And that villager is even being saved. Look at those Lancers versus those Yumi archers. It's quite sad. But Osmane is happy to stage forward, mass up, tech up, get his shrines up. Did you see his macro? Very well macroed for being 16 minutes into the game. Just look at that. All under 100 resources, just like it was a couple minutes ago. Very good with the Japanese civilization. But these 3 culverins, I don't know, they could be an overreaction. What if the Japanese player doesn't actually ship 4 Flaming Arrows next? What if he just goes for, I don't know, an Ashi Nagi composition? Or could almost go pure Ashi versus this. The Flaming Arrows will do pretty well versus the culverins if they are honored, and they are. They were upgraded at a castle, and he has shipped 4 Flaming Arrows. So that does seem kind of the smarter play, I suppose. If we just quickly look at the ranges on these guys, well, they aren't in volley mode yet, so I can't see, but culverins do have, well, they aren't in volley mode either. So we'll have to see once they fight, but the range of these Flaming Arrows is slightly less than these culverins, but they are faster, so looks like that this is finally going to be the big fight of the game. Look at all these discipline. They aren't even honored Ashigaros yet, still veteran. Culverins are now unpacked and gonna get a volley, kill 3 Flaming Arrows in 1 shot. Super unfortunate for Osmane. These Caballeros are just kind of cleaning up these Ashigarus. More Ashis being trained. The Flaming Arrows trying to get the best value against the skirmishers that they can. But just look at the military pops. It's going to be super hard to hold. Japanese really need an extra card here to be shipped. And what else do you ship besides 14 Ashigarus? Look at this reinforcing batch of 10 Lancers. Sacking villages just to try to hold this, and it's tough, it's tough. Batch of 10 Ashes come out. Still not honored though, still disciplined. I have to think if these were honored, this fight would be going differently. If 14 Ashes pop out on top of these skirmishers, it's possible. It's possible a miracle can happen. Unfortunately, pop on sort of the wrong side here. Skirmishers are going to be in ranged combat against these Ashigarus, going to easily clean them up. And jeez Louise, these units are too strong. These Lancers, look at that, quadruple carded Lancers against veteran Ashies. I think that that's just GG there. And Osmane calls it. The series is going 2-0 to Samwise so far. And this is typical, I think, of what we've seen in this matchup. in this tournament, this Spain just gets these beefy lancers, and Japan literally can't kill them. Osmane is frustrated with himself that he researched the H4 Shrine upgrade, but did not research Onid Ashigaru's, and I have to agree. Perhaps it's something that just slipped his mind. Those things happen. But it would have been it would have perhaps been holdable, yeah, with Honored Ashies. It would have been a much closer fight, but versus veteran Ashies with no cards on them, no Golden Pavilion upgrades. Tough, man, tough. Well played by Sam, though. Skirm Lancer. What does Japan do? I gotta use the restroom real quick. Grab some water. But be back in a jiffy, folks.
Are you ready?
All right, I am back, and players are deciding on a matchup. So Samwise locked first. He locked Ottomans, and we'll see what Osmane chooses to select. Looks like it's going to be an Ottoman. So map is Dhaka. This is, without a doubt, the most, what's the word, unique map in the current map pool for EPL2. Possibly in the ESOC tournament maps in general. I think this map is a lot like New England in that there's the central pond, but the pond feels much more important on this map than on New England. It feels like you can't play around it. Plus, you got the sea down in the south, and the yaks, and this very valuable Bhakti temple with the vegetarianism upgrade, which increases villager gather rate on berries by 40%. And as you can see, this northern sort of land delta is littered with berries. But we are starting the match, and yeah, of course, gotta switch these around. Every map gotta switch around the logos. Very cool of me to do, but all right. Crate start was not wood, I don't think, or it was wood. It was wood. It was wood. No starting treasures have been gathered so far. Both players laying down that mosque, that trading post. Wow. Wait, there's no way he got that pass, right? I thought that it was impossible to get the pass if you build your TP here. But I think he got it, and he's already shipped his 3 bills. What? Yeah, that's very nice for Samwise. He got that very early pass there. And shipping 3 bills, I believe. 100 food being picked up by Osmane, but Samwise12 is gonna get his fair share of the yaks here as a result. Let's just look at all units, not units lost, all units. He's already got 4 yaks here, and Osmane not gonna get any. He's choosing to forego the yaks for treasury. Gonna pick up 65 coin next, and he's got 50 coin there, but Sam is all the yaks in. As a result, Sam knows that Osmane should be treasuring down here, but content to just pick up 45 food. Another 45 food here, and the last remaining unclaimed yak up there, Samwise will get. So he will get the 6-0 yak advantage. Very nice for him. And let's just look at both players' decks. So first and foremost, water cards. 1 frigate and 2 galleys. I think you would like to see 3 galleys in an Ottoman player's deck on Dhaka, and Osmane does have the 3 galley ship in, and Samwise does not. Another small discrepancy, advanced trading post Osmane has in his deck, but not Samwise12. I don't know if ATP is really viable in the mirror, but it's just 1 card. You don't need all 25 cards to be perfect. So I kind of like Osmane's deck so far for this. And he's trying to play that water game. He's trying to steal the trading post on Samwise's 12 half of the map, and Samwise is reciprocating. So both players building their second trading post on their opponent's half of the map. But these 6 yaks are quite an advantage for Samwise, to be honest. But I think both players are just going to go for the Tower FF. Let's see what they age with, but both are macroing like that. Osmane's just now got his 100 coin. Could click off at any second. Going to be picking up another 40 coin does have 30 XP in base. I thought that was a coin treasure because it clearly gold here, but won't nitpick. both players setting their water flag shipments into the pond. Both players placing their outposts near the water. And is this the first Ottoman mirror we've seen on this map? No, B-Winner Minimolt played, but okay. Osmane's outpost was cancelled by Samwise's, but he chooses to build it right there, and a couple friendly outposts here. Nice buddy, gonna get to know each other, I suppose, throughout the course of the game. And Samwise is just eating all of those yaks. So look at that. He's up about 200, 300 more food than Osmane is at this moment. So his FF should be slightly faster. 700 coin comes in at identical times for both players. Very tight macro. I think this is going to be a macro build order game. 100%. But Samwise already has the resources to click up, and he clicks up. Now Osmane is going to be just about 10 seconds slower, I suppose. If that. More like 6. And 700 wood coming in at identical times for both players, so what to say? I mean, this is a mirror match if ever I've seen one. Everything is identical. Everything is nearly symmetric, almost. The outposts kind of mess it up. Maybe if this outpost is over here, but the bulk of this game is going to be played in H3. The grunt work is, everything's going to be laid out. All the cards are going to be laid out on the table in H3. I was trying to find a good way to say that. It's the best I can do. So, shipment sent, let's put that here. What about upgrades? Text completed. So Osmane's got the first villager training upgrade. That's a small discrepancy. And now 2 galleys coming in as the H2 shipment for Osmane. His boats don't know what to do. One of them got a shot off on that trading post, but took a lot of damage from this outpost, still taking damage. And this pond is so small. I like this wall from Osmane. Just walling off this choke is always a good idea. And can you age with the caravel as Ottomans? Can you? I don't know. Yes, both are doing so. Oh gosh. This is going to be crazy. Dock being placed now for Osmane. So the HF galley coming in for Samwise. The Samwise12 shipping 2 galleys of his own. And they're going to be full HP, taking damage from the outpost. Both of these outposts are doing damage, but Samwise12 is going to clean this up first. And Samwise12 is just a little faster, getting 10 Janissaries out a little faster than Osmane. Osmane's second batch is only 4. And Veteran Janissary being teched by Osmane. What is the third card going to be? It's on the way for King of Osmane, I believe. Are we going to see a frigate for 3 galleys? These Janissaries have to get back. Veterancy is now just come in for Samwise. It is 3 galleys, so we're going to pick off this last remaining galley, but a frigate for Samwise. What even is this map? Wow, that was just deleted. Whoa, what do I say? Janissary is coming out, trying to do little P shots on the frigate. The frigate goes down. 2 galleys are still alive, but this one is so low HP. Gonna be getting healed by that dock. Very nice strategic dock by Osmane, but these outposts are being such a nuisance for both players' warships, and it looks like Samwise finally has the military advantage to take it off. And yeah, shipping 2 falconets to this forward outpost, gonna clean that off. So Samwise doesn't have 3 galleys, though, and if you're Osmane, I really hope that you check his deck and identify that, because you basically guarantee yourself pawn control for the rest of the game. I'm gonna be able to pick off this trading post. Should go down. Should go down. Gonna maybe lose a Janissary for it, but 2 Falconets for Osmane comes out on his own. But one of these galleys is already full HP and gonna be able to get some good damage on. Oh no! It just gets deleted. Oh. So for those of you who don't know, I do believe 2 Falconets one-shot a galley, whereas they do not one-shot a caravel. Galleys make up for that by having slightly higher attack, but versus 2 Falconets, if you can't get a shot off, I don't think it really matters. But here comes the frigate. Now this is the Falconet deleter you need. Gonna try to get that broadside off. Gonna delete a Falconet. Very strong. Very nice from Osmane. And the Falconets are in range of this outpost, so Osmane is gonna cement himself pawn control, which could just win on this map. And he's got this very, very nice dock to just heal this frigate right up. And, I mean, I guess this is how you win on Dhaka. Like, this is a very, very strong advantage. Everything's even in military and economy. Osmane is even up a couple bills. But he's got this frigate in this pond, and there's no way that Samwise can really challenge that, except for, as I say, he's just trained 2 culverins from an artillery foundry. These guys, very strong against ships, and this pond is so small that there's no way for Osmane to really run away from the culverin shot. So a nice adaptation from Samwise. Osmane almost needs an artillery foundry of his own, or he can just sacrifice pawn control. Say these culverins were maybe a waste of resources, just double down on Janissary production. And oof. There's nowhere to run, and Osmane knows this. He's just decided to just try to right-click the culverins, but gonna go down. The frigate's gonna go down. So an action-packed first 11 minutes. But as the dust settles, or I guess as the water's calmed, neither player has anything alive left in the pond. And now it's just good old vet Janissaries versus vet Janissaries versus a Falconet versus 2 Falconets versus 2 culverins. And Osmane is adding his own artillery foundry with 1,000 wood shipments. Look at this. Look at these card shipments. Even now, on about the 8th shipment, identical shipping times. And Osmane is just right-clicking with Janissaries and taking out all the artillery, taking out the culverins, while his 2 Falconets are free-firing in the background. And that's what I would call a very good trade. Even might bring these guys back. Why not? Getting ragdolled like none other. And Osmane is now in a very commanding spot, up 37 military to 2 to 6. Still though. First market being laid down by Samwise12. Osmane's already got that market. But, you know, who needs economic upgrades as Ottomans? And 1,000 coin coming down, gonna really fuel artillery production if he wants. 2 Falconets coming down for Samwise. And Osmane's just gonna play it safe, just gonna get out, but that's a nice trade from Samwise. Not as well as the trade that Osmane took, but gonna try to get him back into the game. Probably picked off 10 population for free there. But what's in queue now for Osmane? That 1,000 coin is hitting a little bit later, and as a result, it's going to fuel his artillery production I guess at a more advantageous point in the game than Samwise shipped his to get the culverins out, which ended up to be, I guess, not all that useful in hindsight. But as a result of this early faster villager training upgrade from King of Osmane, he is now up 3 villagers at around 14 minutes, so not bad. And he does have the falconet advantage, 4 falconets to 1. No culverins or any other artillery is in queue for either player. So unless something truly tragic happens from the micro of Osmane, I do expect this next fight to go in his favor. Samwise picking off that dock for good measure, why not? You don't want to be surprised by frigate at this point. So both posturing about. Samwise approaching that barracks, but these falconets should get good volleys. Nice added range there. Pick off some Janissaries. Gonna lose the barracks, but not the end of the world, I suppose. Like I said, Osmane is just playing it very safe. Samwise does now have a culverin in queue, so Osmane doesn't want to miss his window. He's got the military advantage, and if you have the military advantage and you know it, why not take advantage of it? It looks like that's what he's going to do. Try to cut off reinforcements here. But Samwise12 is very on top of his falconet control. But it looks like here comes the right click for Samwise. I don't think that culverin's going to make it. Whoa, but Samwise actually, his falconet's killed off two in one volley, but Mamelukes come out. All of Samwise12's falconets are down. 2 remain alive for Osmane. That 1 culverin not going to be enough to do it. Mamelukes seal it. And GG. It's called by Samwise12. So Osmane is crawling back, getting 1 victory here to bring it up 1-2. We do have 2 more games yet to play, and an exciting Ottoman mirror on Dhaka that was. Let's just take a look at. Let's take a look at that. Wow. The 3 culverins. I mean, just didn't really pay off, I suppose. Well played by Osmane. I'm going to continue to turn down game volume. I think it's perhaps a little too loud. Just checking out the chat. Got a lot of talk about Ottomans, their place in the meta right now. Lots of auto games. Tammy Ambato's gonna botto. So, next map is Kamchatka. I'll just remind, it says reset both. And Osmane. Lock in Japan. Maybe he wants revenge for losing what he thought was a winning position earlier. Japan versus Spain. We'll see if Samwise12 chooses to return to Spain, as he has already won that matchup in this series, or if he has other plans. He has yet to play France, and I think France versus Japan is a pretty good matchup for France. I think that that's pretty well you know, what's the word? I think a lot of people think that France is favored in that matchup. But thinking, no doubt, probably discussing with his team or teammates or some close confidant. And it's still possible for Osmane to reverse sweep Samwise, win the series 3-2. Things are getting sort of down to the wire as these final weeks of EPL2 are being played out. There's some drama, there's some controversy about EPL2. I won't get into it, but hey, if you got some free time on your hands, if you haven't read about it, hop on over to eso-community.net and read some drama. Of course, there's a lot more than drama on ESOC. You have strategy guides, balanced discussions, off topic. You know, I think there's a little bit for everyone. Not to sound like an IGN game reviewer, but there's a little something for everyone. So I encourage you guys to make an account if you don't already have one. Be active if you're not. Make good posts if you are active, etc., etc. And the more active ESOC is, the more community support, donations, etc. that we can get, the more content we can provide to you guys. So that's my little sales speech. Osmane is BRB Quick, and I am going to also be BRB Quick. 1 second. Alright, I am back. Also, if you feel so inclined, throw in an ESOC MDS in the chat. Let's get some, let's get some support for Godsmane over here, for the Mandarin Duck Squad, for one of the most exciting teams in EPL2, if you ask me. That mid-season addition of Perez, bringing him back online. Big hype from MDS. And if you look at the standings, it's not exactly clear it's going to be moving forward. I think MDS versus NWC, the very last week of the regular season, is going to be important, because there's going to be a swing associated with each series. So I think that could decide the second team in the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see. Osmane's had a very good tournament so far.
Are you ready? Yes.
And yes, half of all donations, I believe, donated during a tournament, half of those donations go towards the final tournament prize pool. And Comet K in chat has just confirmed that is not true of subs. So just a little FYI there, but if you're interested in seeing the stakes raised for the ESOC Premier League Season 2, consider donating. All right, we're in game number 4. Samwise is up 2-1, and Samwise is playing French in the color blue in the northwest of the map, and in the southeast we have KINGofOsmane in the color green, back in Japan. Civilization he lost with earlier in the series, but considered to be his main and pulling it back out. The map is Kamchatka. Summer variation, that is correct. And a quick look at hunts. Starting hunt +3 close for each player. Everything looks nice and balanced. Coin mines in front and behind, TC, etc. Little goat contention in the middle of the map. Samwise's scout trying to get that second one, but the first goats are being split 1-1 for both players. And that free macaque spawning in the base of both players, both going to be going towards the middle, trying to get these contested 4 goats, and Samwise is going to come out on the edge there, 3 goats to 1. Meanwhile, an 80 food treasure going to be picked up by Osman. Samwise12 does not have time to get there, but going to be losing a lot of hit points for that. This native scout could even be harassing more. That native scout could possibly have killed this explorer if Samwise was maybe on top of that. But 80 food is going to go down in the favor of KINGofOsmane. Going to help speed up his age up because it was a coin start, not something Japan likes, and there is an early consulate from Osmane, so going to be a bit slower for him, but certainly that 80 food helps. Meanwhile, in base market, house, hunting dogs, all standard stuff from the French player. And I do believe he picked up 40 wood earlier. Yes, he did, to help speed up that hunting dog and house research. Meanwhile, he does scout 80 wood. Let's turn Fog of War on. Scouts 80 wood, but so does Osmane, and going to immediately pull an explorer over there to try to steal it, and Samwise12 immediately starts it. With the added DPS of this macaque, I expect he'll be able to pick it up in time, but will lose a little bit of extra hit points at that cost. But not going to be really a problem for him. The Japanese monks can't really harass other explorers, so no issues. And right-clicking, shift-clicking right away to the 40 wood. So this is going to be a very strong H1 for France, but you kind of expect that on this map. They do spawn with that extra native scout. They get the macaque, just like the other player, but Japan is not necessarily the best civilization for treasuring these strong wood treasures guarded by 2 tigers. They really excel at coyote, wolf, sort of lower HP treasure guardians that they can divine strike and DPS down. So let's quickly tab on over to shipment sent. Heavenly Kami by the Japanese player in 3 Coeur de Bois from Samwise12. And all units, Samwise, I believe, is eating his goats. Yes, he deleted at least 3 of them to get a quick age up. However, looking at the age up time, I do believe it was still just a 14 build up, but I think he just didn't want to get any idle time at all and devoured some poor goats, some noble goats, noble cause for the French civilization to get up without idle time. Meanwhile, Yumi Wall going back to the namesake, King of Osmane, laying down those sexy pillarless walls. Look at that. Look at that. Saving wood. Very, very efficient. And Kamchatka has always been a pretty decent Yumi Wall map. You've got these chokes. Sort of combining it with this consulate and gold mine makes walling it off relatively easy. But we'll see what Samwise12's game plan is. There are no forward villagers, so if I had to guess, he is going for some sort of no, barracks. This is going to be a pike semi, bow pike semi or something like that. Wants to control the shrine count around the map, but he doesn't want to be susceptible to 5 Ashy timing, which Osmane is known to do, as he has done it earlier this series. So we do see an in-base barracks from Samwise. Quickly, let's go over to units in queue. Nothing yet, but I expect soon. No wood though, no wood. Guess he's got to wait for, no, okay, 4 CDD comes out, not 700 wood. It's going to be musks, it's going to be musks, not pike. I'm calling everything wrong. But anyways, the cat coming in to scout from Osmane, sees the in-base barracks, gets picked off by the Coeur de Bois, but knows what's up. And similarly, Samwise12 just running that native scout right under the TC. Gonna try to see what's going on. Sees the walls, sees the port consulate. Portuguese consulate. It's pretty much nothing else to say there. Knows it's a greedy play style, and as a result, Japanese players just going to shrine boom. So Musketeers are a very versatile unit, but don't have as high of siege as perhaps pikemen, but they will be more useful in Age 3 than pikemen, so it's a bit of a trade-off. You're not going to kill as many shrines, but you're going to be able to ship 2 falconets and defend them easier and faster, so I think that's what he's going for. Meanwhile, Osmane, I mean, this is just a classic RE build. Kami, 600 wood, 4 villagers. But will it be too slow to react to the French player's FF? And he's already clicking up to H3, or at least he can. Going to have a shipment ready for him when he gets there. Hasn't shipped 700 wood yet. And I think this is going to be a rather fast timing. I expect to see a unit shipment first, probably just 2 falconets, chop some wood, get veteran musketeers perhaps. Yeah, he's researching gang saw here. And try to do a lot of damage to the Japanese player. However, Osmane's shrines are pretty well placed. He's got a lot of line of sight in the middle of the map, and in order to get to his base, in order for Samwise to get to Osmane, he's got to forego sieging all of these shrines, which already is in itself a small bonus for Osmane. But if he chooses to stop and siege the shrines, then his whole timing is kind of ruined. So Osmane is going to know it's coming one way or another, and laying down that wonder with 8 villagers as soon as he can. He just needs to hold, just like the previous game when he was up in age 4 with Japan. Recalculated population, he's up 41 to 28 villagers. How much, how many more villagers do you need? I think now would be a good time to maybe focus on military and trying to hold the inevitable push from Samwise12. And Samwise is popped, but no villagers on wood despite researching Gangsaw. I think he's just content to trade gold for wood at this point. 5 skirmishers. He's actually shipped 1,000 wood as his first card, and I don't know how I feel about this. I feel when I watch Kaiser stream, alright, Kaiser, very good player, something like 14-1 in the EPL or 13-2, something stupid. When I watch him stream, I see him do a lot of these sort of faster FFs, naked FFs. That wasn't naked, but he'll often ship a unit shipment first and then follow up with 1,000 wood after he's done the damage, so to speak. But Samwise12 is instead electing to go for 1,000 wood and is actually just going to build a forward base in the mid-map. And there's nothing wrong with this. I think this is very smart because he did train 5 musketeers in age 2, or really 10, I guess, maybe 5 in transition. Perhaps he couldn't be as fast as he wanted to with his 2 falconets, but all of his reinforcements will be faster here now that the buildings are mid-map. So 2 sides to a coin, I guess, and it's because it's impossible to say which is better that makes RTS games so fun to play. This stealth native scout in the base of Osmane is being super helpful. The skirms are getting kind of free volleys there, but gonna take 1 shot from the flaming arrow. Now 3 cuirassiers coming out. So Samwise going for the 1,000 wood, 1,000 coin, 3 cuirassiers. Just this is the same game plan as he had as Spain, where he just masses, crate shipments, It just goes for very, very strong mid-game timing. And Osman is just sort of in his base. The difference being, though, in this match is that Samwise doesn't have Stagecoach, and Osman has a whole heck of a lot more shrines. He's on 200 shrine pop. He's pretty much maxed out. So I think things are looking okay for Osman. A lot of cuirassiers, though. But adding Nakis, so I like this as well. I don't think you should show him yet. Yeah, he's just teching them veteran now. Does he have a? Of course, he's got a stable. He's teching them, but he shipped the 5. He didn't make them. Doesn't have any in queue. More cuirassiers in queue for Samwise, but of course, Naginatas are sort of a Lancer type unit. They don't really do very well versus just jack of all trades hand cavalry like the cuirassiers and hussars. So these hussars could be very dangerous, but these trees are super advantageous for Osman. It's really going to affect the pathing of these cuirassiers, but doesn't care. He's going to go and he's going to force these units to kite back out of the trees, and going to be tough to hold. However, there's a nice gate here. The flaming arrows are nicely protected. Nagis are trying to get in here, but cuirassiers are maybe going to be just proved to be too strong. Like, I think you got to put some of these guys in hand mode. Look at that area damage. I mean, it's just ridiculous. As I say that, Osman has just cleaned up the army, so my predictions are pretty bad, and Samwise12 resigned. GG, evening up the series, and pretty decisive victory here, I guess. Only 1 fight, 12 minutes, and Yumi W, well, I guess more like Nagi, Ashi W, proving victorious. I really thought that France would do better in that fight, I'm not going to lie. He had a lot more stuff. And it's not like these Ashigaros had close combat. I don't maybe it's just a rough composition. I think he could have benefited from 5 goons or something, and these flaming arrows were not touched the whole fight. I guess if they got very good trades against the skirmishers, and I suppose if you're the French player, I don't know why you would not wait for 2 falconets. It looks like his game plan was just a very strong cuirassier timing, 1,000 wood, 1,000 coin, 3 cures, and cav combat. But in such a defensive location for Osmane, he was able to defend it quite easily. And Samwise actually outgathered Osmane the entire game, despite Osmane going Kami 200 shrines. So I feel like this is a weird game. A weird game. More resources, more army, and then just lost. Might have to watch the tape on that one again. Don't be fooled by this. It wasn't as decisive as I might have imagined. The series is now evened up 2-2, though. So we're coming down to a decisive Game 5. See which player and which player's team will walk away with the victory in Week 4 between 2 very strong players. And while players are deciding a matchup, I will be right back.
Are you ready? Yes.
Alright, I am back. Looks like Osmane is figuring out his civ, figuring out his build. Nothing wrong with taking your time. It is an important tournament match. Samwise12 saying money is time, or the other way around.
Yes.
I think that that's how equal signs works. So pretty spot on logic. And Osmane is selecting France. So looks like it's going to be Spain versus France on Manchuria. Interesting matchup. Sam is a busy man. Osmane's busy man. I'm the busiest man. I have Minecraft bridges to build. So got to get back on my server so I can build more stone arch bridges in Minecraft. And time is money is also diamonds. So don't forget that, guys. Every minute you're not mining for diamonds in Minecraft is potentially diamond lost, and that's a very sad thing. Water is good. Water is so good to drink. I love it. I love drinking water.
Are you ready?
Samwise12 now, the last one to ready up. Oh, how the turns have tabled. It's a thing people say, I guess, on the internet. Kind of dumb, I guess. I don't know why I said that. Should have just said how the tables have turned or something. But alright, looks like both players are mostly ready. Mostly. Launching game number 5. Week 4, EPL 2, Mandarin Duck Squad versus the Hudson Bay Bigs. Osmane versus Samwise. The series is tied 2-2. This is the very last game. Whoever wins it wins the match, takes home the +1 for their team. This could decide EPL, who goes into playoffs. You never know. Just how down to the wire it might go. That said, here we go. Samwise, color blue. Civilization, Spanish. Northeast of the map. Southwest, Osmane. Color green, Civilization, France. It is a wood start. And the trading post is spawned vertically with 3 sockets, not the 2 behind each player's base. So I imagine both players going to immediately try to build a trading post. And Samwise12 being smart. Doesn't beeline it, but tries to look for that probable 85 wood in the back of his bases. And he's going to find it, but as a result, Native Scout for Osmane is going to have free pickings for the yaks in the middle of the map. Picking up 2 just escaping the war dog. Excuse me, just escaping the war dog, outrunning it. And look at this guy gallop, really, really going. My scrolling sensitivity is a bit high, but can I follow it? Oh, I can follow it. Oh, that's nice. I like this. But I'm missing stuff. Osmane picking up 75 food. And Samwise is going to return to that 85 wood, beneficial for him. And as a result, going to not chop the wood for a house. So this is going to really speed up his age 1, much more so than the 75 food. I'm going to slap down that house of 2 villagers not to get idled. Very nice by him. Nice pickup. And let's check hunts real quick. This is balanced. Starting hunt +3. Mine's it's all good. However, the treasure spawn is definitely in favor of Samwise. If we just look for some other good ones, 150 coin. Sometimes the mid-map treasures can be very strong as well. He's actually found 90 wood and 85 wood are spawning in a triangle, some sort of weird, freaky, magic, esoteric triangle in Samwise's base, and Osmane just not getting so lucky. It's gonna pick up 40 wood, but I think he'd like to get his explorer up here. He has scouted that Samwise12 is up here and picking up 85 wood or 90 wood, so I think he can get up here with his explorer and contest 85 wood. Going to be picking up 30 XP along the way, and right now his explorer is pretty low HP to actually be doing that at all if he wants to build a trading post. He's still got to watch out for this dog, this war dog that could try to harass him. Oh, of course, it was a wood star, so he already got a trading post. And looks like Samwise12 wants to build the second one here. And Ottoman is going to maybe whittle away at this 150 coin. Sometimes talking by yourself for a couple of hours gets a little tiring on the tongue. But let's check out the decks. So, because there is water, I think it's smart to have a couple water cards. 2 caravels and a frigate for Osmane, and for Samwise, nada, which I think might actually be Spanish for nothing. So, pretty great casting if that's true. But I was able to incorporate that. But Samwise12 is going to pick up his 3rd tier 2 wood treasure of the map or of the game. So going to have something nuts like 190 wood, just from age 1. So that's quite strong. Quite strong. And he's doing standard tower FF. Over chopping coin a bit. Now pulling off. No, okay, so hunting dogs, but I still believe he over chopped just a bit, but nothing too big. If he really wants to, he can eat a couple of these yaks before he ages to get perfect idleless age up. And that tower was scouted by this native scout, I'm almost sure of it. We'll see where he places it, just kind of on this hunt. Not by the trading post, but on this hunt, which is smart because this is Osmane's 3rd hunt. So anytime you can sort of deny your opponent that in the middle game, that's quite strong. But we'll see if Osmane chooses to try to siege this down or something. I don't think he is, because he's laying down an in-base stable, not a barracks. So I think he's just going to try to semi-FF here. And that's interesting. I don't think you see many like 5 cav FFs versus Spain. Both players are doing a very nice job of scouting this entire series. Samwise's dog runs through the base of Osmane just in time to see what's up. And it's actually 700 wood and no units are in queue, so this is going to be just a naked FF from Osmane, I believe. Meanwhile, Samwise is already up to H3. He's building that barracks at home. Does not feel comfortable enough to build it forward. So I don't know what's better. I think it's a pretty even game. He is now just realizing his mistake. Looks like shift click did not maybe work right there. This Court de Bois was pulled off of this hunter. I'd like to see that herded in a bit. But, I mean, with the barracks this far back and this late, the musketeers are going to be... I don't even think he's going to train them. I think he's just going to go for Spanish gold again. Go for some sort of eco-oriented gameplay, because an in-base barracks that late, it doesn't really give you strong falc timing. So Osmane's naked FF is going to go pretty unpunished. And he did ship 700 wood, so going to have a lot of pop space and decent infrastructure here to start producing his first units. 5 Rodoleros are actually in queue for Samwise12, and Osmane is just going for Skirm Goon. Of course, the 4 Asia Hussars are immediately right-clicking this hunt, and Osmane, like a pro, says, hey, no, not today. Clicks the CDB off. However, unlike a pro, didn't really hurt this in as well as he probably could have or should have. And so could be hurting on hunts kind of mid-game. He's got this one, it looks like has walked a bit away from his teepee. And has been not scouted by either player, so. Five Dragoons is the first card for King of Osmane. And Samwise shipped, oh no, Samwise shipped Spanish gold to his forward tower. Oh, there come the Sadvilles. It's their unlucky day at work, because look what Osmane has found. And Samwise12 feels obligated to defend this, but I don't know if he can. There are a lot of Dragoons on the field, only a handful of skirmishers and colonial Rodoleros. And immediately sending a Court de Bois to pick that up. This could be a game-losing mistake from Samwise12. And 1,000 wood is thankfully shipped to his town center, but going to be donating a bit of coin in the meantime. Where the reinforcements for Osmane, here we go. Additional skirmishers is going to be leading up on the skirm advantage. These skirms are gonna, nope, still focusing on the skirmishers. And 2 villagers are garrisoned in this outpost. We'll see if they pop out onto this. Yeah, they do, and one getting picked off. So maybe steals 20 or 40 of that, but that's about a 600 gold swing. So can't complain if you're Osmane right now. Still has a handful of yaks to eat. Can still hurt in this hunt, and pretty nice pickup for Osmane, I would say. So Spanish gold, 1,000 wood, and then 8 Rodoleros for Samwise12. Still not upgraded to veterancy. Does have the resources in bank. Stacking a lot of wood after that 1,000 wood, so we'll see what he chooses to spend it on. I don't know if he wants Stagecoach, if he wants to dock a second TC, or just wants to... Okay, it looks like it is going to be a second TC. This is a very strategically placed, covering this gold mine in this rather important hunt mid-game. Now 2 Falconets come out, so, you know, besides this coin mine donation, it's not game over by any means. Those resources can easily be swung by the difference in micro of a certain fight. And the fact that he's got 2 Falconets out and Osmane has shipped 3 Cuirassiers, It's going to be interesting. There aren't a lot of Radoleros yet, but Osmane's going to go all in here. Dragoon's going to try to pick off a Falconet. Cuirassiers getting caught in the trees, pathing. Radoleros in a good spot, but not a whole lot of them. Cuirassiers trying to get around, but the Falconets are getting really good trades against the skirmishers. However, they will fall. And after they fall, Osmane will have access to the Falconets of his own. These three Cuirassiers are so sad, are just not really doing much. And that was actually a really good trade for Samwise12, and this last Falconet is actually going to stay alive. And just as I was saying that gold donation was kind of just swung in the difference of that fight. That was a really nice trade for Samwise12. Recalculated economic population, apologies. Osmane is up about 6 villagers, but Spanish civilization does have 2 trading posts and now a 2nd town center active. And he's up just 3 cards. He's just up 3 cards. Now 2, but if you talk about H3 cards, it's almost 2,000 resources, so this economic gap that you see here is not as big as it seems, because experience is in its own form a type of economy. So close game we have here, I think. Samwise is actually up about 24 score. But this Falconet swing could prove to be beneficial for Osmane. Hand infantry combat, so it looks like he's gonna. Looks like Samwise12 is really gonna go all in on the rods. He's got 2 in queue, now 10. Just finished this batch right in time. Very pro gamer move. And there's nothing to really block the Falconets, right? You have to kite with skirms and dragoons, and with this one Falconet still alive, that's such a huge advantage for Samwise. The fact that this didn't get picked off the last fight. And now he's found out that there's a town center here, but I mean, Minutemen and unit shipment need to be very careful here not to get caught. And Osmane is being tenuous. Oh, getting a volley off, but picked off in the end. Tenuous is the wrong word, it was tentative. I'm just kind of dumb. Anyways, I think this town center is actually going to go down, which Osmane needs as he's gathering resources. But he's going to try to take this fight, Samwise12 is, but the 2 Falconets are getting blocked by the Dragoons. They can't path away, and the Minutemen are actually going to pick off 1 after that super low HP Falc already took off half the hit points, and honestly, this Falcon or this town center might just stay alive. Additional skirms coming down, but flanking Lancers in a pretty good spot, and these rods super hard to deal with. The better composition goes to the Spanish player. That Falconet is down now. These veteran Radoleros are going to be pushing back the Dragoons and the skirmishers. This looks like it's just going to be not a cleanup, but a good trade for Samwise12. And then where did these Court of Bois go? Now 5 Hussars popping out, and I think that this is just going to be GG. You can't deal with this raid. You can try to go for a counter raid, and I think that's what he's going to try to do, but no, so it just calls GG. And Samwise12 is actually winning the series 3-2, so a close one for sure. But well played by both players, absolutely. But there are a couple of spots that I feel like Osmane wished he could have gotten back. He could have gone back in time and changed. And in Game 2, Japan versus Spain, I think that that's definitely one where he did not have honored Ashigarus. And I think if once we switch to military population, we're going to see a pretty bad trade for Osmane, and there it is. I think if he could just have this fight back, micro a little differently, I think that he's honestly in a really strong spot to win this game. Just solid trade overall, got that coin, but kudos to Sam for bringing it back after that. I mean, that'd tilt the crap out of me, honestly, but kept his composure, didn't resign, which is important, and actually ended up to bring the W, and as a result, brought the series home for the Hudson Bay Bigs.